Hello everybody out there in YouTube world. Hope things are okay for you out there on that planet of ours, that beautiful planet who we call Gaia. Yes, again, the response to the channel, wow, brilliant, it really is. You guys are surprising us, aren't they, Max? Especially with the viewings, and even the comments are coming out even more. That's what we want.
Yeah.
This helps with the algorithms of our channel. So the more thumbs up, sharing of the video, sharing of the channel, comments, subscriptions, just tell everybody about us. Because at the end of the day, and I'll always will say this, we are who we say we are. Pure and simple. Straight down the middle of life. Right, now this, let's talk about video. Going to be a good one, actually, an interesting one. Wouldn't you agree, Mrs. G?
Oh yeah.
Basically, if you have a chance in life to do this, to time travel back to your 18-year-old self, what advice would you give to your 18-year-old self? Boy, isn't that a good one? Whoa. That's really something, isn't it, for you to travel back in time to your 18-year-old self.
It is, but I think we've got through life and moved forward now. We know what we would change.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't we, really?
Yeah, oh, definitely.
You know, do you want to start with it?
Yeah, I'll start. What would I say to my 18-year-old self? Boy, where should I start? Where would I start? Well, I'll tell you now, right? I would say to my 18-year-old self, when it comes to relationships in the early part, I'd say stay single.
Totally agree with that one.
Stay single and focus on yourself. Ground yourself even more. Meditate more.
Find yourself more.
Find yourself more. Even if you have to lock yourself away from life itself, but keep in touch and active with the ones that are close to you, your family. Still focus on yourself, because
I mean, in our day it was different, wasn't it?
yes, it was. Of course it was.
You know, everybody got married young, didn't they? They had the kids young.
True.
These days, I think people are more sensible.
Yeah, we found that out. Yeah, that's.
I mean, if you was 21 and you weren't married, they used to say that people were on the shelf.
Yeah, on the shelf gathering dust.
I mean, at 18, you're kids, aren't you?
Yeah, you're just kids. You're just young.
And you've got kids yourself, you know. And I mean, I know you won't know.
No, I was an old dad, but still.
But there's nothing more harder than bringing a child into the world and spending the rest of your life trying to look after it, really.
Yeah, too true.
You know, well, not so much the rest of your life, the rest of their lives.
The rest of their lives, so when they grow up and become independent
adults
people,
themselves, and they've got children and that.
And they become independent
But there's not. It's so much easier to get yourself a job and go to work and
another thing as well, I'd say, no drinking. No drinking. Don't care. Some people might say, oh, it's good to have a drink. Trust me, for these people who are going to say this in the comments, if you could travel in time and if you kept up your drinking habit, you see yourself in the future, what you would look like by keeping that drinking habit going. I can promise you, it wouldn't be a pretty picture. It would not be a pretty picture. Especially on the inside of your body.
God.
And you're smoking as well, and you're in the drug scene and all that. I mean, I've lost friends over the years through alcoholism and through the drug scene. And these weren't hardcore people in their drinking and their drug taking, and they weren't. They were quite social people, but yet, because of the years of doing it, and they started when they were young, it had a detrimental effect on their bodies later on in life. So this is one of the things I'd say to myself, my 18-year-old self. Do not drink any forms of alcohol. Do not take any forms of drugs, any way, shape or form. None.
You know,
Definitely.
people seem to blame other people. You can't blame
You
other
can't,
people.
because you
You know,
are
it's
the
yourself.
It is, especially if you're easily influenced by others. Well, that's another thing as well. I'd say to my 18-year-old self, don't be influenced by others for doing the wrong things.
Be yourself.
Just be your own unique self.
Be yourself.
And yeah, keep my activity even more. Spend more time for yourself. Not spending too many hours, long hours at work. Gosh, that knocked me around. That did for many years, working all those hours. And it really
Sadly,
did.
though, I think because of the way the world is now, especially the UK, you know, you're going to probably have to work more hours.
Yeah, the younger
aren't you?
people will have to.
Just to earn money. But you know what? The advice I'd give people, if you was your 18-year-old self, if I was my 18-year-old self, save your money.
Yes, save. Definitely save.
Save it. I'm not saying, you know, stay in and be miserable.
Yeah, we're not saying that.
Budget it properly.
Yeah, budget your money.
Never get into debt.
Make sure you got enough money to put aside to save. And
Once you're in that debt,
it's really good
you're
for the
paying
rest
it
of your
off for the
life.
rest of your
Of course it is.
you know, it seems very simple when they say it's only £10 a month. That £10 a month, if you haven't got it, will be £20 a month by the time you have.
Exactly, that's the truth, that is.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I think there's only one thing I wouldn't change. It's my children.
Yeah, that's the only thing I would not change,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, if I hadn't have had them young, then I wouldn't. You know, I wouldn't have had them. You know.
Yeah, true. That's the one, but
Yeah. But you know, my advice again. If you're young and you're listening to this, have your children when you're a bit older. You know, don't get everything mixed up the wrong way around.
Yeah.
You know, children, career. Your career, then your children.
yeah. And another thing as well, partying.
Yeah.
Partying hard.
Yeah.
No, that would be a big no to tell my 18-year-old self. It's not worth
Yeah.
partying hard because it can affect you later on in life, and that's the truth.
Plus, you know, in all honesty, it can make you grow up much too quick.
Yeah, it can.
And then by the time you should be doing all that partying and enjoying yourself without the drugs,
Yeah.
you don't want to do it because you've done it. And my generation, you've probably done it from 14 up.
Yeah, that's true.
When
that
you
is.
should have still been a child, really,
Yeah.
enjoying your childhood.
Too true.
There's many things, really, I would change.
Yeah.
I could go back and say to myself, well, why did you do that? You know, you should have waited till you was older and more mature. Save more money, definitely.
Yeah, as we did say, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, definitely got a good career. I mean, I did, so I can't really moan about that one. But get your priorities right, basically. And the rest will follow, won't it?
And avoid the mistakes of life too. Definitely, that would be a must, I'd say, to my 18-year-old self.
Yeah.
Be much weary of others.
Other people, yeah.
Boy.
People who you think are your friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Turn out not to be your friends at
No.
all. So, you know, again, just be mindful, really.
Yeah, be mindful. Definitely be mindful.
And don't be a follower, be a leader.
Yep, that's it. Don't be the sheep, be the shepherd.
Be the shepherd, definitely.
Be the
I like
shepherd.
that one. Don't be a sheep, be a
Do
shepherd.
not be meh. Be the shepherd with the crook, trust me.
Oh, and the best advice I'd give anybody, learn to drive.
Yeah, learn to drive.
Got all your own independence then.
On a
Even
flat
if you
line.
can't get a car straight away, as long as you've got your licence.
Yeah, that's what happened to me. I was 22 when I passed my driving test. 1988. I passed first time, and I had the weirdest thing, right? I had 22 lessons from start to finish. And 1988, and it was August, the 1st of August, and I was working at the Crips Association, one of their security officers there, because we did. It was like, for those of you who may know a little bit about the Crips Association in Wolverhampton, They were like a business place to help people find work, train up for work, things like that. And Margaret Thatcher, who I got to meet, believe it or not, you wouldn't believe this. I actually got to meet Margaret Thatcher when she came and visited Wolverhampton. And she was in good friends with Jeff Parsons, who was the director and chairman of the Crypt Association in Wolverhampton. And yeah, I got to meet her in person. Boy, that was something I can tell you. But yeah, I really did. I really met Margaret Thatcher in person, like this. That's how close I was to Margaret Thatcher. He even shook my hand, which felt very uncomfortable. But yeah, passed my truck driving test, 1988, first time on the 1st of August at 11 o'clock in the morning on a Friday, and it was a Friday. I was ever chuffed. Hubert Munro, who was my security boss, he was the manager of our department. He said you can go home if you want. I said no, I'll carry on working, which I did, and because I took my break credit to take my driving test. And oh man, I was chuffed to punch. Oh wow. It's like winning the lottery, really, when you think about it, when you pass your test. Equivalent to.
You couldn't wait to finish your.
Yeah, I couldn't wait. I didn't have a car at the time though. My first car was a clapped out Mini Clubman. But yeah, getting back to talking about our old 18-year-old self, I'd even say to my 18-year-old self, right, go for your driving lessons, go for it. Go for it.
And if you can't afford them and you've got somebody in the family who drives, just give them the petrol money, you know, and they've got time to take you.
Yeah. And also what I learnt as well with some of my friends, a good friend of mine, Danny Williams, bless him, he kind of like helped me as well to learn how to drive as well. He had some bad habits, so I thought I wasn't going to be learning these bad habits. But yeah, I was always watching him drive his car. He used to have this XR3i, this red one, and he was in E-Reg as well. It was Rabbi, it had some Rabbi registration on it. And yeah, I used to always watch him in it as he was driving, watch what he was doing, and that was what I got interested in the driving. I wish I was 18 at the time as well. But there you go, it's life, isn't it? But yeah.
And I'd also say be careful when travelling.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't travel on your own.
Nope.
I went to live in Belgium. I left school when I was 15. And 4 weeks later, on my own, I travelled to Belgium. And I stayed there for 12 months plus.
Belgium, 15 years of age.
On your own, be very, very careful. I mean, I was lucky because I was streetwise.
Yeah, I was streetwise too.
But there's a lot of people out there
who are not, trust me.
So, you know, yeah, be careful.
Be clued up to things.
And travelling, if you can, always travel with somebody else.
Yeah, always travel, especially being a female as well. Even though it works for men as well.
For males as well, of
for
course.
males as well, so it works both ways, really.
Males and females, isn't it?
Most definitely, yeah. Wow, travelling to Belgium at the age of 15 on your Jack Jones.
Yeah.
That's a big deal, that is.
And I loved every minute of it. That was the thing. Every minute.
Oh, bless you, Max.
Oh, no.
15 years of age. You know, when Max first told me this, I was like, I was, what? You travelled to, you weren't in the UK, you were in Belgium at the age of 15 on your own. On your own. I just wanted to know how that come about.
I was always one for wanting to get off. All through school days. I could never settle. So I thought, when I leave school, I'm going to work abroad. I'm going to get a job abroad. I didn't realise that, I'd never worked in my life. I got no qualifications at that stage. I was just hot-headed, and I'd got to go.
You're a free spirit, basically.
I was.
A free spirit.
Very free spirit. I still am.
Yeah, you are.
Aren't I?
Yeah.
To a certain
to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
Andrew's tamed me a lot.
I think we've tamed each other, really, when you really think about it. I was kind of free-spirited in people being overly nice. That was it. But then people would get the wrong idea of my niceness, and this is how
Yeah.
I've been brought up. You see,
They wouldn't know.
and they
Took everything the wrong way.
they did. Therefore, I was being serious about them. I'm like this with everybody. Like this with every human being, male as well. You know, nice to them, share the love and stuff like that. And I reckon I come from like a kind of a flower power generation in the 60s and 70s. So you can see where that's come from. And I'll always be it, but I'm aware of others now. Now that I know about how other people do react to this. So, yes.
Yeah, very wary.
Yeah, that'd be another thing to my 18-year-old self. Stop being too overly nice.
Yeah.
Because it
You
gets...
can't help it, can you, when you're
Yeah,
a nice person?
Yeah, I mean, I can't help being nice, but there is a difference with it now. There definitely is a difference with it. People cannot take advantage of that anymore. No, we will not allow it. Full stop.
Yeah, rightly so as well. Rightly so.
Because when you got to find out about it, you was gobsmacked. And you couldn't believe it.
Couldn't believe it. I mean, those who don't know Andrew, he's had a bad time, really, really bad time.
Worse than most, and I'm being truthful.
Yeah,
Especially from childhood.
And if you look back on his videos, you'll probably see some of it, but not all of it. And yet, because he's a nice person, I mean, don't forget, he's grown up in a big family, haven't you? And bless him, like he's got sisters and that. So he treats women like he would treat his sisters, really.
Definitely.
But for some reason, you've got a person who's very, very unwell, and yet you've got people who followed him wanting to go out with him, and you know, thinking that he wanted to go out with them. It's silly. I mean, I can't even get my head around it. I can't.
No.
How somebody would act like that when somebody's really unwell. You know, and he just thought that they were there for him, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I really did.
Being nice and that, and all they wanted was him. It's like, sorry. It's beggars belief, really.
Yep.
It really is. You know, and it just shows that as well, like, you know, how you're brought up, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
You're brought up in a close-knit family, and you've got sisters and brothers, and you treat people like that, don't you?
Yeah, you expect people to react
to be like you like
like
was.
that.
Yeah.
How wrong was I in the end? Very wrong.
He was playing Marjorie groups at night, trying to help people.
Yeah? Agony uncle.
Yeah.
Agony uncle, literally. And that's no joke, I really was. And it took its toll on me, though, because I couldn't keep battling with my own problems.
Trying to deal with his own problems, well, they should have known that, shouldn't they, really?
And mine were very severe too, as well. Very severe.
They were.
They were life threatening. Let's be honest. I'm being honest. They were life threatening. My own problems were.
And when he was telling me these things, I was thinking, that's not right. You know, for him to be like that when they can see how ill he is. But, it takes all sorts, I suppose.
Takes all sorts to make this world move around in the way it does.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, getting back to the subject of the matter, talking to your 18-year-old, travelling back to speaking to your 18-year-old self, sitting your 18-year-old self right down in the chair and looking your 18-year-old self right in the eye, literally.
I don't think I'd like to be 18 again, not in the world.
No,
we live now.
no, I wouldn't like to
The
be
world we
18.
live in now.
I'd travel back to my 18-year-old self.
Yeah.
What year would that be? That would be 1984 for me. Travel back to 1984.
Whoa.
Wow, so that was a big journey.
I mean, you have to make mistakes to learn.
Yeah, you've got it. You wouldn't be
have to
human
make it.
otherwise. You wouldn't be a human being.
But as long as you're aware of the mistakes you've just
Yeah.
made and don't do it again, then you've won.
Yeah, you've won, definitely. You've conquered
You've
it.
won.
You've conquered it.
But the first thing is like money,
Yep.
because without money you can't get
You
far,
can't.
can you?
You can't really live
You
properly.
need money to
to
pay bills or
Yeah.
pay your parents.
put a roof over your head.
Yeah, buy your food. You know, travel, go out.
Mm.
But always put some money away for a rainy day.
Yeah.
And I mean, you're probably thinking, oh, that's an old-fashioned
But
way of thinking.
trust me, my father was right.
Mm.
My dad was right.
Yeah.
That's why I took out the things I did
Yeah.
when I was 21.
Mm.
Yeah, and I'm glad I did really. So now when I get to that latter part of my life, I know I'll have a little something there because it is. Because I took out 4 of them altogether, 4 little ones. So yeah, when that time comes, they'll be all right. But yeah, that's it, man. You know, go back to your 18-year-old self, travel back to speak to that 18-year-old self and make them wise up.
Because you know, at 18, you never think you're going to get old.
No, it's a trouble. And we've spoken to most 18-year-old people before, and they says, you're old. I says, yeah, but you will be one day. you may live to see it, because that's the thing. Who knows who's going to live to see that age in life? Nobody knows. No one knows.
Hopefully you will.
Yeah, but that's the way they've got to be, the way
But
our
that's the
world
way
is.
you have to
It's
think
not a
about it.
negative thing. It's a constructive way of thinking about those things. Because I've had people pass away much younger than me, around me in my life as I've grown up. And that's why I say I feel blessed every day. I feel blessed every day to be still here.
Yeah.
And that's what I would say to my 18-year-old self.
Yeah.
Be blessed that you're
Be
still
wise.
here.
Be wise.
Be wise. Wise up, man.
Wiser than your years, really.
Yeah. Definitely.
But I'll tell you something. If you've got a good career and you can get yourself a nice job, what you're going to be happy with.
Yeah.
You know, the jobs that you'd have to do if you don't,
We've done jobs.
you won't be happy with, and having to spend your whole life working hard in minimum jobs sort of thing that pay minimum wages.
Yeah, we've done jobs which we did not want
We
to do.
had to.
And
I've done everything I have.
And I mean jobs where you wouldn't even think a human being could work in those conditions, and that's no joke as well.
Yeah.
It's no joke.
But you know, if you can get yourself a good career, you're halfway there, aren't you, really?
you are. Most
Because
certainly.
this government is making it hard anyway for people to get this on the ladder, aren't they, to buy homes
Yeah,
and
for the
stuff.
younger people in particular.
And not everybody's got families with silver spoons, have they?
No, that's the truth of the matter.
But you know, there's plenty of time for marriages and people
Relationships.
there's not
and
many people get married these days anyway,
No.
so can't afford
The
to.
majority of people are living together
And
as a couple.
there's nothing wrong with that at all.
No. No.
But you know, you should, I mean, ask your family if you've got family.
Mm.
And I'm sure you've heard your mums, dads, grandparents, whatever, say the same things to you.
Mm.
And you just thought, oh God, what are they going on about now?
Yeah.
Because I used to think that.
Mm.
Oh God, what are they going on about?
Mm.
You know, it's going to be years before I get old.
Mm.
And yet before you know it, you are. So
Yeah, exactly. Because when I was in my teens growing up, and I used to see people who were in their 50s, and I used to say, God, they're old. In their 50s, you know.
Yeah.
And here I am, knocking on the door of 60 next year. Whoa, see what I mean? You see what I mean, you young people out there?
Yeah. Age is just a number.
Exactly. But you never think you're going to reach to that age in
And
your
where
life.
it is a number.
Where it is a number and it becomes a number. But seriously, yeah, young people, man. Never think that you will never ever reach an older
But
age
you know
in
what,
life,
as
but
well?
you will.
Save your money because there's going to be no pensions by the time you lot are old. Is there?
The way that things are
Not
going.
the way things are going.
Not the way that things are
You
going.
know, there's not enough money in the pension pots, and it's bad enough now with them. So save your money. Save your money.
You know, if I'd saved the money back then, you know how I'd be well off. And I'm not just saying that I really would be a well-off person. But then, the tax man, he would want a big fat chunk of that. So he'd say to you, buy a safe, create a hole in whatever room you're going to store it, concrete it up, and put that safe and then save your money in.
And then get your spade out when you're older.
Yeah, your spade, your pneumatic drill. But seriously,
Deeps this hole.
I'm going to make it as deep as possible that only I can get to it and no one else can. But seriously, it's good to put those little. I'm not got to that extreme, like, you know, just joking there, but get a nice little safe and then put money in that as well, you know. Well, look who was your mum. What was she like when it comes to money? You got to hear this.
Nightmare. God bless her.
She didn't believe in banks. Let's put it this way.
Didn't believe in banks.
Banks whatsoever.
But she loved a plastic bag.
Yep, she loved a plastic bag.
No, nobody was going to touch her.
No.
She's only got a plastic bag
Yeah.
in her mind.
Because people, you know, you see someone with a carry bag, you think, oh, they've got no money.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, don't be fooled.
Don't be fooled.
Don't be fooled, man.
Don't be fooled. She hated banks.
With a passion.
And every time I went out with her, my heart was in my mouth. God rest her soul.
I knew one story of a tramp that lived in Wolverhampton. For some of you may know about it. He was a Polish gentleman and he'd fought in the Second World War. And he did not want a home. And he used to have this tent. I think it was by Carol's Mercedes place. So near coming up to the Pen Island. As you was coming away from Wolverhampton City. And you'd have like this green vergeway which was fenced off. And he'd have his tent on his grass and everything. He had a satellite on there. And unfortunately when he passed...
What, on the tent?
Yeah, he did. He had a satellite dish on the outside of the tent, and that's no joke. That's the truth, man. Straight down the middle. And when he passed away, you know what they found underneath his mattress? He had thousands and thousands of pounds. They reckon a couple of $100,000 that was underneath his mattress all that time.
Oh.
He didn't want no bank at all to have his money. So he died a very wealthy man on the streets.
What a shame. That's awful, isn't
He
it?
became one of the most famous tramps in the UK of his time. They created a sculpture for him, apparently. A lad from Wolverhampton who I vaguely knew. He created this special statue of him, and which I think they did display in the art gallery. I don't know where it's gone now. I don't know. But yeah, they did. So yeah. Wow, it was quite shocking when you heard that he had all that money underneath there. Wow. But he was a well-known tramper, Wolverhampton. I do remember seeing him as a young teenager growing up.
But having to live like that though with all that money, that's
Yeah.
probably why you got all that money,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, of course, yeah.
Because you haven't got nothing to pay out, has
No, I
it?
got nothing to pay out and live how he wanted to live. Wow.
I mean, we're frightened to go downstairs, aren't we, when the postman's there, because
Yeah.
all we get is bills.
Bills. It's not bills. Appointments where certain... No, I've changed the address. No longer there. I'm in a better place. But yeah, getting back to returning back to your 18, talking back to your 18-year-old self. Yeah, just tell your 18-year-old self, if you could do that, is to be wise to things in life. Use a
And you know, if you're going through lots of stresses, which you do when you're 18.
Of course you do.
I mean, you've got hormones flying all over the place. For a
Flying
start
like
off,
crazy.
which can cause a lot of mental health.
Oh boy, can it
The
just-
stress of studying, the stress of having to look for
You're
work.
still going through the puberty and all that. You're still going through it.
You are, the stress of like looking for work.
Mm.
You know, it's horrendous, isn't it?
That was when I was going for the growing pains in my body when I was 18, because I was a bit of a late developer. I didn't start to develop until I was probably between 16 and 18, and I started to grow a little bit doing the weight training before it turned into bodybuilding. So yeah, I've really went through it for my legs. My legs was always in constant dull ache pain in my thigh bones. I could feel it, man. I could feel the bones stretching. Oh, not nice. Not
But
nice.
what I was going to say is go and get help.
Yep.
Go and talk to somebody
It's good.
before it gets out of hand. You know, don't just keep it to yourselves.
No, and the old saying is it's good to talk.
Good to talk.
It really is. It's no joke. It really is good to talk. Like when we're out and about, and if we see someone who's homeless, and you could see that they are
Genuinely.
genuinely homeless, we'd go and talk to them, and even offer some food, get him a hot chocolate or a coffee.
Yeah.
But yeah, have a good chat with him for a few minutes, and that's what homeless people do miss is the
But again, be careful.
yeah, but be careful as well. That's another thing as well.
Be
Again, this is
careful.
where being the awareness of it. But yeah,
But you know, 18, it's a lovely age really, when you reach 18. You know, you feel so grown up and you could conquer the world.
you think you are.
think you can.
You think you're a big person at 18. Man, you're not. You're not by no way means. Yeah, you're 18 by the legalisation of law to get married, to drink alcohol, to smoke, yeah. But I'd say to my 18, don't smoke, don't drink, don't get married. That's me speaking to my own 18-year-old self. I'm not saying what you would say to your 18-year-old self, whoever you are.
It's what we would
It's
say.
what we would do personally.
Yeah.
That's what we would do. But yeah, and then I would say, yeah, don't go out. I know your friends would say, well, why are you not coming out? You're getting boring. But those are one of the things at that age group. You want to be out with your friends all the time. And then you come in the early hours of the morning at 3, 4 o'clock sometimes. And then you got to go to work in a couple of hours.
Yeah.
You may not even sleep. I've done all that. I know what it's like. It's
And if you do go out, just drink sensibly if you're going to drink.
yeah, if you're going to drink.
What's
yeah.
the point of going out? Drinking and drinking and drinking for the sake of it.
To getting drunk.
Getting sick.
Blindly drunk.
Probably
and then-
getting into trouble as well because you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus you're vulnerable.
Yeah, very, very vulnerable.
What's the point in that? You can't say I've enjoyed myself because you haven't.
No,
You can't have done.
no.
And always remember, if you're going to get paralytic, there's always a reason for it.
Yeah, there is. Because you're hiding something.
You're trying to shut something out.
Yeah, you're hiding something. Trust me, I know. I've been
Yeah.
there. I've been there, I know.
Yeah.
Definitely. It's called what they call drowning the sorrows.
Mm.
It's the old name for it.
Yeah.
Drowning the sorrows. Forgetting about it.
Yeah.
Alcohol cannot make you forget about it. It makes matters worse.
I mean, if you're a social person, you know, it doesn't matter how many people tell you to stay in, you're going to want to go out anyway because nobody could ever keep me in.
The queen of socialism, this one.
I was a butterfly and that's how I was, and I've always been like that. Not now, I'm not, but I used to be.
No, the wings have been clipped.
Yeah.
Clip, clip. But no, it's...
But it's all sensible advice, really.
Yeah, it is.
What you would change, because we've done it all, we know.
Yeah, we definitely have
We
done
know.
it. And some of them have been very wrong
Yeah.
things too. Very wrong things.
Yeah.
And I used to beat myself up about it for many years after.
Mm.
Especially in 2011 when everything changed in that sense.
Yeah.
Everything come flooding back from the past.
Yeah.
And I mean...
Which can happen.
And I mean everything. From as far back as the mid-70s.
And you know, have a bit of sympathy as well for your friends.
Yeah, definitely.
Because they might not tell you they feel depressed.
Mm.
But they obviously are if you all go out drinking and you
Yeah.
get paralytic and stuff.
I mean, I remember some of the friends that I used to go out with, they're no longer here because of problems they had, which they kept buried, and we didn't know at the time. We only found out at the time of the funeral. On a few of the funerals I've been. You know, I've been to more funerals than weddings in my life. And the amount of funerals I've been to have went into double figures.
It's horrible, isn't
That's
it?
scary, isn't it? See what I mean?
It is.
It's well into double figures now. Well into double figures. It's far too many. I should never even go to one. No human being should ever go to one, but it's life, man.
I mean, I just think now that you should enjoy every day of your life
yep.
as if it's your last.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
in a sensible way.
you see, that's the thing is when people hear this, as if it was your last. Yeah, I'm gonna go this and do that. No,
No.
it's not. It's not all about that.
Enjoying yourself could be visiting your parents you haven't seen for a
Yeah.
while. Or even buying your mum a bunch of flowers or something.
You see what I mean? That's
You
what your
know,
parents
that's
used
what
to-
we mean by have a good
Yeah.
time. You know, have a nice day every day.
Yeah.
Not going out
To the
spending loads of
extreme.
money you can't afford.
Yeah, to the extreme.
Yeah.
We call that the extreme measures of
Yeah.
life.
Yeah. And reach out if you're not feeling well.
Yeah, definitely.
Always reach out. You know, or go and see a GP if you have to.
Yeah, which some of us do not
Yeah.
like to go.
I mean, it's subjects like this, like the mental health part, people don't want to talk about.
No, especially us men.
Yeah.
And it's us men more
Yeah.
than the women, you know, and that's a fact.
Yeah, they ignore it, they sweep it under the carpet.
Yeah, they say, oh, man up.
Mm.
That, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
that really knocks me when I hear that. At one time they used to say to me, man up. I says, man up. You really want to know the reasons why I'm like this? I don't think you'd be able to cope yourself with it. And then when they find out some of it, their attitude changes literally within a glance. That's no joke.
I mean, life tends to come and test us, some more than others.
Yeah, definitely.
But we all have to go through something at
Some form
point.
of test.
We really do. Sometimes it's not going to be very nice.
No.
But sometimes, you know, it's going to be wonderful.
Yeah.
You know, but none of us go through life with an easy path.
No.
And anybody who tells me they do, then I just don't believe them anymore.
No.
I really don't.
No.
And growing up is all trial and error, isn't it?
It is from the day you are born into
It's all
this
trial and
world,
error.
taking that first breath. You're fighting for survival from the get-go. Even when you were conceived inside your mom's womb, you're battling with things there, and you don't
I mean,
realise
a
why.
lot of it as well as you're growing up, you're thinking what other people think of you.
Yeah, I used to be like that.
But you know what? Why do you do that?
Why do we do that as humans?
Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter their opinions.
Yeah, because they're not living with you.
If you're happy with yourself,
Couldn't give a monkey's
that's
what anybody
all
else
that
thinks.
matters.
No.
That's all that matters. Not what somebody else thinks you should do, like have your hair done like this or wear this.
It's like this. I love my crystals, and I really love crystals. I love them. But then you used to hear stories about, oh, it's very feminine wearing crystals. Hang on, crystals are for everyone. Man, woman, child. They're for everyone. I love them. I absolutely love these crystals.
I mean, we wear crystals because of...
You know the properties of them?
We know the property. We've worn them since we was kids. You know? It's what we're into. We didn't care what anybody says to us, did we?
No.
About what we should do and what we shouldn't do.
Exactly.
You do what makes you happy.
Yeah.
If somebody else isn't doing it, or somebody's thinking badly of you, or opinionated about you, then that's up to them. That's their problem.
That's there. It's like the other day when we was waiting for the number 13 bus in Albury, and the number 12 bus had just pulled up and the people were piling on it. And we had this woman. She was staring through the bus window while she was sitting on the bus, staring at the pair of us, and I mean, literally staring. Yeah. Man, I love it. Jealousy.
It's got nothing to do with jealousy.
I joke, you know. Yeah.
It was... I don't know what it was with her, really. I didn't know.
She had a problem, basically.
She had a problem with me.
She had a problem with Maxine being with me, basically. And that's what that woman was staring like that. And this was a grown-ass woman as well, you know. An old little teenage or 20 or 30-year-old person. A grown-ass woman is probably, you know, late 60s, early 70s. You think that you're not better than that, being at that age. But yeah, see...
But we just laugh it off.
We do, we were both. And I think she got...
Careless.
You know what, and I think she got the picture because then she stopped to look. She stopped looking then.
It's probably because Andrew was acting like the Hulk.
Yeah, I turned green. No, Mr. McGee, don't make me angry. You wouldn't like me when I'm angry. But yeah, seriously, going back to your 18-year-old self, which this video is about. I know we come away on different things, but this is who we are.
It's all part of it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's exactly. It's all connected.
It's all
it's all connected.
learned
It's
over
all
the
connected,
years.
man. It's all connected. It's all connected.
So what we've learnt over the years, really.
So yeah.
But you know, yeah, if you could tell yourself
When
you
you're
was
18, yep.
what would you tell yourself? There's loads of stuff I'd tell myself. We've gone through half of it.
See, we've only gone through half of it.
Yeah. Half
There's
of it.
loads more, man. There's loads
Yeah.
more to say. What would you say to your 18-year-old
Yeah.
self? To what you now know in the senior part of your life?
Yeah. I used to go down.
I'd give me 18-year-old self all the winning lottery numbers and the Euro winning numbers. All of them.
A nightclub called the Rum Runner.
Yeah, very famous in Birmingham.
Used to be famous in Birmingham.
Very famous in Birmingham it was in its time, in the 60s and 70s and 80s, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was 14 at the time. And then never got in till 3 o'clock. And I had to go to school then.
14 years of age, going to a nightclub, you know.
And some points at school, I'd be asleep on the desk. But nothing would have stopped me from going.
That's
Didn't
one thing
matter what anybody said.
Yeah.
So, you know, and that went on for a long time, that did. Because I loved the Rum Runner at the time.
Gosh, I was 17 the very first time I went to a nightclub, and it was Eve's nightclub. But because I was obviously, you know, growing and what have you, and I started shaving at the age of 13 to stimulate the hair growth on my face, because my dad told me about this, because that's one way. And I got a bit of a bum fluff moustache grow, and because of that it made me look older. And I obviously got into I started weight training from when I was 15, so by the time I reached 17 I was a little bit buff, like, you know, at 17.
You could get in the club.
Yeah, and it helped, it really did. And plus the old Adam's apple started to grow a little bit, so my voice got a little bit deeper, so I could give off the age of being 20, 21. And I did. It was on a Friday night. And I thank God I knew the people on the doors there at the time, so I was very lucky really to get in at the age of 17 on a 21-year-old over 21 night. It was weird. It was weird, but I couldn't drink no alcohol though. I was drinking lemonade and black. I really was drinking lemonade and black.
Well, the police used to come round
Yeah,
when
they
we was
did.
young and pick your glass up. They said, how old are you? Well, if you just said 18, that was too obvious, weren't it? So I'd go one over, I would.
I'd say 19 or 20.
Yeah. You got any idea on your head?
No, I left it at home.
Oh, I'm ever so sorry. I forgot to pick it up. You know, but when you think...
At 14 though, you know, jeez. I thought 17 was young going to a nightclub.
You know, do you really want to grow up that quick?
Yeah.
Trust me, you don't.
Scary, you know. It really is a scary thing to grow up very early. But don't forget, you really did though, Max, when you was how old? 5? When you think about it, you really did have to grow up early. At the age of 5 onwards.
Yeah.
Imagine that, a 5-year-old kid having to grow up to be the age of someone who's like 12, 13, the age of 5. Wow, that's massive, that is, you know. That's a big responsibility, that is. So what I mean, people? Life is here to test every single one of us, and it really is. It really is. So you think we're all done there now, Mrs. Chu?
Well, I could go on all night, but I'm not going to. So you're okay, everyone.
Because we're up to now 43 minutes on this one. Yeah. Wow. So we've covered a good amount. So yes, ending it right there on this one. And yeah, again, thanks to those of you who have recently subscribed to the channel. Respect every time. Keep the likes going on. Comments in the box, share the videos, and if you're new to the channel, you just watch the videos, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, so when we do upload videos, whatever the comments, whatever the content may be and the subject of the matter is, you will get a notification of that video being uploaded throughout the week. So we do always upload content throughout the week. And again, thank you so much everybody for your support. Thank you. We really do appreciate it. We really do. Namaste.
Namaste, everyone.
Namaste. Namaste, everybody. Namaste. And let's keep that chi of life always and forever flowing. Let's feel that chi. Let's feel that energy. most importantly, please stay safe out there, everybody. Please stay safe. Please.
Love and lights all
Yes,
over.
love and light, love and light.